Did you read about the new education policy? Yes, I did. It was interesting, but I had so many questions. Did you understand? Even I read something about it, but the picture of the whole NEP was not clear. I also read an article on social media, but I also didn't understand it properly. I also read it, but I was having so many doubts. So let us wait for the ma'am. May she will clear our doubts.
Morning everyone, how are you all?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. How was your day, beta?
Fine.
Okay, so today, as I told you earlier, please have a seat, everyone. Today, as I told you earlier, that we are going to start with a new chapter, that is Journey to the End of the World.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
I wanted to ask about the new education policy.
Oh, you don't know about anything about this?
Yes, ma'am, we are having many doubts.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am, we know, but we have so many questions. So can you please answer our questions so that we are clear about it? Because we are the main focus of the new education policy.
Okay, children, then in that case, if you have so many doubts and apprehensions on this policy, then I think Principal Sir would be the better person who would be feeding up your queries. So let us move to Principal Sir's office and there you can feed up your queries. Okay? Shall we move? A selected number of the students can move on. Okay.
So, ma'am, may we come with you?
Of course. Move on.
Yeah, please come.
Good morning, sir.
Very good.
So some of my students are having some apprehensions about this new education policy. Would you be kind enough to clear their doubts? Because you are the best person to solve their problems and doubts.
Are they with you?
Yes, sir, they are with me.
Oh, why not? Please come. Welcome.
Sure. Children, please come.
Very good morning. Morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning. Very good morning.
Children, here we are having principal sir, and as you know, that he is the best person to solve the queries. So kindly ask whatever you want to ask him, sir.
Welcome to my office.
Thank you, sir.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Yes, dear children. What you are looking for?
A very good morning, sir. I am Arushi, student of class 12. And I am here with my fellow correspondent, Mr. Hardik, Joshi, Khandelwal, Aditya, Kumar, and Anshika, Gangwar. So we are here with our doubts on the new education policy, and you being the most resource person who can help us out with this issue, we wanted to clear some doubts. Sir, can you please throw some light on the new education policy?
First of all, I am so thankful to all of you that you have picked up this topic, which is quite burning at this moment, and we are eagerly waiting to involve all the children in this kind of a debate. And since you people have already thought and your teacher has guided you to come up over here, I'm so thankful, and that's opportunity for me, I should say, to interact with you. Yes, as Arushi asked me about new education policy. Yes, new education policy 2020, which has been already implemented now. Uh, the major focus and major shift comparative to the previous and this coming policy, and which is already existing here now. The rote methods to the experimenting and memorization to experiencing. This is a major shift on which they are focusing on it. Earlier, the teacher used to be in the center, right? Now, according to this policy, we are focusing for making the child future ready. They want to keep always, for every policy, they want to keep the child in a center. Teacher is a center for the reform purpose. But as far as concerned for the learning, all the policies used to be kept for students. I hope I'm clear?
Yes, sir.
Now the another major structural change which is being taken place. Earlier, 10 plus 2 system used to be there. You must have heard of it.
Yes, sir.
10 plus 2 system is there. Where the formal education used to be recognized from the standard 1 onwards. But now, there's a change. Major change has come. Now the system of the 10 plus 2, now it's been shifted from 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Means they have considered the pre-primary education also into the existence in the formal structure, right? So the first 5 that represents to the basic, that's for the foundation stage. Then the next 3, that's the preparatory. If I talk about the foundation that start from nursery to class 2, right? And 3 to 5, it represents to the next, that is what? It's a preparatory level. And next 3, that goes from 6 to 8 is called the middle school. And finally for 9 to 12, they have given the 4 part. So 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, in this form they have picked up and they have created the structure. But the most important thing, very interesting part, this complete 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 journey of a student, it's purely inclusive in nature. When I'm saying inclusive, it means I'm talking about how the first 5 years are very much connected to the next 3. And this next 3, how it is going to further next 3. That means the first 5 years, they are basically focusing on the play and activity based curriculum up to class 2. When the child shift from class 2 to class 3, right? What changes there? Now they want, along with the play activity, the discovery has to be existing. How we have to make the children more curious towards the discovery part. That means class 3 to class 5. He or she should be good reader. That is what the focus is changing from class 2 to class 3 when the children journey for further 3 is up to class 5. After 5th, along with the discovery, they want the child should be well thorough with the concepts. Conceptual part has to be very much clear, which is the base and the bottom level for making the children for the future ready. So when you shift from 8 to 9 or 9 to 12 your journey will go, then you should be ready for the further all to act as a global citizen, right? So the critical thinking, where the word comes from, you must have seen about the HOTS type of the thing, higher order thinking skills, right? So this is what kind of the change, but all these areas and the journey which is very much practical. They don't want unnecessary the rote approach. They want the thing to be very much practical. So dear students, this is what the change. And after the class 12, even the higher education reforms. The higher education also has its own kind of the reforms, and that I'll let you know further in the journey. Yes. Anything else? I hope I'm clear.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
That's great.
That is 5
Wait,
plus.
Start.
So how this breakup can be beneficial for us?
Oh, definitely. See, this breakup, it's on a very practical ground. When the journey of the child starts from nursery at the age of 3, and when the child reaches to class 2, right? After the class 2, when the child has got awareness for what? The foundation learning for their mathematics, little bit language, along with the reading and the writing skills. But it is going to be sharpened and the formal assessment will come in class 3. The first formal assessment will come in class 3 by NTA. I want to tell you, this time Ministry of Education has come up with another one body, and that is called National Testing Agency. And now this National Testing Agency, which is going to assess the children's performance in class 3, in class 5, in class 8, along with 10th and 12th. I hope I'm clear.
Yes.
So this, when the first time will come for the formal assessment, where they are going to see how much the child has been equipped with respect to his foundation behavior, how is he respected, how the child is eager, whether the child is really happy to come to the school. That is something which is the main aim of the foundation. And when the child enters in the 3rd to 5 journey, then at the age when the child comes in the 5, in the standard 5, I should say, at that time we are going to have another assessment by the NTA, and then this connection, which is going to give the more and more chance for the regular and the periodic assessment in spite of evaluation. Dear children, you must be knowing the difference between assessment and evaluation. While preparing any dish, if you taste, it is assessment. And when the dish is ready and you taste it, that is evaluation. So this policy actually is more focusing on assessment, regular assessment part. So on this regular assessment part, definitely it gives the freedom also of the expression. Okay, how the actual child is, this innate potential, whether the teachers are eagerly assessing the child with respect to their remolded assessment behavior, or they had their own smart way of the methodology of teaching. Because this 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, it provides an opportunity on three bases. First, on the curriculum, which is very dynamic, very much inclusive, very much interdisciplinary. Okay, and second is pedagogical. Pedagogical means what kind of the methods will be imparted to prepare the children for learning, not of learning, for learning, right? So this is something what they are looking. And afterwards, the third point which comes as the assessment. Now, dear children, how this dynamic curriculum will be there for all 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Earlier, it was used to be the first board exam used to take place on the 10th. Till 10th, it was no formal assessment was there. So there was no focus much on the assessment part. There was more focus on the evaluation part. But now, on the regular, along with the more focus on the process, how children is actually proceeding, how children is actually giving the opportunity of creating the opportunity and imbibing the opportunity, okay, for learning in their own strength area, in spite of focusing on the weak area. Of course, the gray area is very important to understand how we have to turn our gray area into the strength area. So this complete journey will provide us the more and more opportunity to learn without burden. Burden of what? Burden of marks. Generally, which is to be there. Now there is no formal demarcation will be there in the senior classes. You belong to science stream, you belong to commerce stream, you belong to humanities. No. Now you can pick it up any subject, whether one subject or the physics, history, and at the same time, if you are keen for the accounts, you can take it. It's up to you, right? Similarly, when after the class 12, when you go, the first year that will be the certificate year. Next year you enter, it will be a diploma year. Third year it will be for the PGD, means postgraduate diploma, and finally the degree will be for the fourth year. That means this way they are providing more and more opportunities without creating the pressure, and this is the most beneficial state for a child. And one more thing I want to emphasize: this policy is focusing more and more on the skill. Okay, not it is only basis, whether it is a reading, writing, listening, and speaking. After the pandemic, you must have observed the changes in yourself also,
Yes,
right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you people are not ready to sit for a long hours. When you were at home for the last 2 years, your mama was always in front of you. Biological clock has been disturbed, right? So since the biological clock has disturbed, definitely the focus span also has gone down. So this is a major challenge at this moment for weak schools. How we bring back to the children in the normal stream, and for that this NEP it has come at the right time. It's a time is very important, I should say, for this NEP. If when the children needs these all things after the pandemic, and this complete NEP is addressing to the need of R, and that is what the purpose. So I should say, Bacha, this is something what you asked. It's a beneficial. Definitely, it is going to be a boon. It will be a time-taking process. And second, how much the school will be actually practically they are going to apply on the ground. These all policies depends upon that also. Right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, along with the academics, how this policy is going to make us future ready?
Oh, it's something very interesting. Which is already the actually I should say the aim to prepare you people for the future ready, right? Now you see the curriculum, whatever the children are learning in standard 1, by the time when they pass the class 12, most of the content gets obsoleted. If you see with respect to the technology part, right? This is the scenario. So it's a fast changing society. But during this pandemic, you must have observed all those people used to have the strong life skills. All those families impart the sanskaras, values strongly. Their children, their families, they used to be more united, and they got the opportunity to overcome whatever, whether it is economical or social or emotional setbacks. So I should say this policy is focusing on life skills of the children and life skill for the 21st century. And when I'm saying 21st century life skills, I'm talking about empathy. Now the time is there. Don't seek too much sympathy. Empathy is very good. How to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, and then you realize the situation. More and more is depending upon, earlier the IQ was important. Now the emotional quotient is equally important. So now the shift is there from IQ to EQ and EQ to SQ, social quotient, spiritual quotient. And one more quotient I would like to convey here, TQ, that is a technological quotient. This is going to provide the opportunity to you to understand all these kinds of segments, because your future jobs are not going to be the jobs where you only require the IQs. Now the people those are going to be involved with the best of the EQs, they can be the better leaders. So to make you future ready, now, and if I talk about our school, right, our main focus is what? To provide you the knowledge, experience, experimentation. You must have seen the changes also in the class. The teachers have not started talking about more and more in the dynamic curriculum. They want to involve, they want to talk about the more and more activities, isn't it? Why? The purpose is not to engage you only, to prepare you for future by involving you. We want to involve you not only for the sake of as a student's learning part. We want to involve you in our existing school system. I'm talking about the Guru school system. We want to involve the children at the time when the teachers are preparing their lesson plans. Teachers are going to involve you at the time of the assessment. For example, they will ask you, you provide some questions. Because how best you can articulate the questions, that means the concepts are more clear to you, right? So we are more focusing to involve the children in the assessment part, because now the assessment in itself is absolutely on a different. Earlier, whatever the teachers used to give the assessment about the child was the only assessment. Now, along with the teacher's assessment, peer assessment is going to come. How your friends are thinking about each other. The self-assessment will be in the existing. What do you think about yourself? What kind of benchmark you have kept? Whether you are reaching, how close you have reached to your benchmark. So you are going to assess to yourself. Similarly, the parents are also coming to the existence of the assessment. What they think about it. So its complete assessment is there, which will make the students for the future ready. Right? So the child will realize it not only in the terms of the marks, he or she will be more realized about the potential what I have. Because जिंदगी बीत जाती है, we can't realize it sometimes what the strength I am having. We have something else as a strength, and we are actually executing our jobs in our weak areas. So that's why we always take it as a burden to our profession, right? So in future, not only you should be ready with your profession with respect to your skills, it's more important to what kind of the soft skills. There are one hard skill and soft skills. So what kind of the communication skills you have, what kind of the human being you are, okay, how much you can understand somebody else, how much you can create the team, how you can coordinate with your how can control your feelings. So all these things now is going to be part for your life skills. So I hope bacha life skills will be the key area again in our school system, the Guru, to nurture you people with, your mono has one line, tagline. What is that? Nurturing excellence.
Excellent, yes.
Yeah. So nurturing excellence with respect to what? It's with respect to the holistic approach. What actually this time they want to focus it more. Mind, body, heart, and soul. All these four compartments has to be covered if we want to make you future ready. So all these things we are going to cover in our school curriculums. So that is the guidelines on the new education policy, but on the ground, how do we implement it, that I have shared with you, right? Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
आपको लगता है कि इस नई योजना के लागू होने से आज की आने वाली नई पीढ़ी को नए रास्ते और नए मौके मिलेंगे?
मुझे लगता ही नहीं है, मुझे नजर आ रहा है। आज आप लोग बच्चों ने एक कॉन्फिडेंस क्रिएट किया प्रिंसिपल ऑफिस में आए और आज आके उनसे स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड इसके बारे में बात करें, क्या आपको लगता नहीं कि कल को जब आप बड़े हो जाओगे और अपनी लाइफ को एक पीछे की मेमोरी फ्लैशबैक को दिमाग में लाओगे तो आज का दिन आप भूल पाओगे?
नहीं।
दिस इज अपॉर्चुनिटी। यही वो चीज है जो बच्चे को हम जो भी 10 बार बोल दें वो उसके लिए उतना अहम नहीं है, हम बच्चे के साथ कर क्या रहे हैं वही एक सब कुछ। आगे की उसकी आने वाली परिस्थितियों को कैसे उसने मैनेज करना है, ये उस बात की उसकी काबिलियत को डिसाइड करता है। हम बच्चे के साथ कितना खड़े रह रहे हैं, ये एक न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी हर वक्त उस टीचर को ये हमेशा एहसास दिलाती है कि आपका बच्चा सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है। टीचर इज द मेंटोर। टीचर एक गाइड का वर्क करेगा। अब मेथोडोलॉजी सिर्फ आपकी चॉक डस्टर पे सीमित नहीं होने वाली ना, टीचर को फ्लिप्ड क्लासरूम में, जो कि आपके स्कूल का भी एक पार्ट बहुत जल्दी टीचर्स उसको अप्लाई कई क्लासेस में स्टार्ट हो गया है, आप लोग के साथ भी होने वाला है, जहां पे आप लोगों को ये कहा जाएगा कि आप जो करना चाहते हो, जो पढ़ाया जा रहा है, उसको पहले आप घर पे उसके बारे में पूरी तरह से, चाहे वो टेक्नोलॉजिकल सपोर्ट से करके आइए या बुक्स से करके आइए, जो भी आपका एरिया है उससे अपने आप को तैयार करके आइए। और जब टीचर पढ़ाए तो आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि मुझे क्या नहीं आता, यानी कि टीचर उस वक्त आपको तैयारी के अंदर आपकी जर्नी में शामिल हो गया, आप उसकी टीचिंग में शामिल हो गए। जब ये दो कोऑर्डिनेशन को आप यहां सीख लोगे तो कल को आप किसी भी पोजीशन पे होगे, आपको टीम मेंबर्स को किस तरीके से इंगेज करना है, उनके साथ मिलके कैसे अपनी टीम को बिल्डअप करना है, ये सिर्फ मैथ्स और साइंस और हिंदी के मार्क्स एक लिमिट तक इंपॉर्टेंट है। आपने देखा कि एक आईएएस है जिसने क्लास 10th के अंदर अभी 3rd पोजीशन उनकी थी, he has shown the mark sheet also and he qualified the IAS examination। रीजन क्या है कि उस स्किल्स को कैसे नर्चर करना है जिसकी जरूरत हमें आने वाले वक्त में है, राइट? तो उस चीजों के ऊपर ही सारा न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी का फोकस है। और यहाँ पर हम द गुरु के अंदर जो अलग अलग अपने हम फोकस करने जा रहे हैं, फोकस आपकी लीडरशिप क्वालिटीज के ऊपर है, फोकस आप क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग के ऊपर है, फोकस सिर्फ ये वर्ड्स में शामिल नहीं है, इसको प्रैक्टिकली ग्राउंड पे कौन से हम छोटे छोटे चेंजेस लेके आए। बच्चा क्या अपने आप को फील करता है जब वो स्कूल आता है, whether the child feels happy to come to the school, क्या वो खुश है? यदि बच्चा खुश है तो वो सीखेगा, जब वो सीखेगा तो कल वो अप्लाई करेगा तो आने वाले वक्त के लिए तैयार होगा। यही एक सिंपल सोच के साथ हम लोग आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है बेटा कि जो आपका ये दिमाग में ये है कि क्या ये फ्यूचर के लिए हमारे लिए बेनिफिशियल है या आगे के लिए तैयार कर रहा है, बिल्कुल तैयार कर रहा है, क्योंकि हम उसको बर्डन से हटा के उसको बार बार वीक एरिया पे फोकस नहीं करेंगे। आपकी स्ट्रेंथ क्या है, उस स्ट्रेंथ को कैसे नर्चर करना है, उस पे ही हमारा फोकस रहेगा। आपकी कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स कितनी स्ट्रांग है, आपकी कई बार दिल में होता है लेकिन कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स अच्छी ना होने से आप उस चीज को दूसरों के सामने रख नहीं पाते। सो उस चीज में हम कितने मौके दें आपको स्कूल के अंदर कि आप अपने जो उस कॉन्फिडेंस को गैदर कर सको और आगे के वक्त के लिए आप तैयार हो सको। सो दैट इज द पर्पस व्हाट वी आर लुकिंग फॉर, राइट? यस।
Sir, do you think the students will find it difficult to adapt in the new system?
Whenever anything comes new, okay, so it always comes with the two different impressions. First, what change? Well, because every change is never acceptable at the first stage. But when it is going to be implemented by strong hands in the true spirit, whatever the word has a spirit, if it remains only in the words, of course, it is going to be tough, it is going to be not productive, it is not going to be effective. But if it has its own strong planning and execution, then definitely this policy is going to work practically with the children. Why? Because the spirit of every word which is being mentioned there. For example, I give you an example. You must have seen the HOTS.
Yes.
Higher order thinking skill questions are there.
Yes.
Very common word. But do you really know the meaning of higher order thinking skill? If until as a child the teachers are not aware about what actually it is. For HOTS, hits are required. For HOTS, what is required?
Hits.
HOTS are important for students, right? Because they will have to face the 40% of the questions of this particular category, which is more applicable, okay, in your examination system. But to prepare you, hits are required. And when I talk about the hits, I mean high impact teaching strategies. What is that? High impact teaching strategies. So that's the role of what? The teachers. So if the teacher is future ready teacher, if teacher is not kind orthodox kind of the style of the teaching, then definitely what you are talking about is going to be easy, enjoyable, fun loving. Okay, stress will be removed. But if the implementation is not going to be taken care of, if the concept, if as a leader, if I am not having the clear concept, I don't have the roadmap for my teachers, I don't have the roadmap for my school, then definitely it is going to be a problem. But if I may have short sight, but if my vision is clear, right, it is going to give you the effective decision. So, dear children, my dear child, you need not to worry for this. Yes. How much?
So, why was there a need for the proposal of multidisciplinary education and research universities?
What's the need?
Yes.
I want to tell you one thing. There is one international exam known as the PISA, right? And this is an international body which conducts this examination for different countries. And I want to tell you, in last time when PISA was conducted, where India also took part, the grading of the India was quite low. Reason being is what? In spite of that, we have a very sharp brain children. Okay, we have one of the best faculties of the world. We have one of the best institutions, but still, our rank was quite low. There was a major reason. Reason was that kind of the application approach which student needed. What kind of the critical thinking which was required to analyze the questions. Our children were not able to crack with those kind of problems with the same impact that it was required by the PISA. And that was the reason, as in spite of having all the resources, but the implementation was not that strong on the ground. This took place. Now the focus is more and more on what? On research-based, inquiry-based education system. We want you should be able to ask more and more queries. When will you ask the query? When you have a curiosity. If the child is curious, simple. If the child is curious, the purpose of the education is done. Irrespective in whatever the area you pursue in your life. But if you are having the curiosity to learn, curiosity to imbibe the not only the knowledge, to have to imbibe the skills. Dear students, I must tell you, you will have thousands of the questions. You must have seen when a child is too young, छोटा बच्चा होता है, हर चीज में questions होते हैं उसके पास. And when a child grows, उसको पकड़ के हिलाना पड़ता है. Do you have any problem? Do you whatever you want to ask, you can ask. Why will people remind always to you? You should ask. Why not you should always ready? As I told you in the flipped classroom, when you come to the class, you should be ready the complete list of your queries before starting the topic in the class by the teacher. When the teacher is teaching the class, at that particular time, whatever the queries you had, if already you have finished, you are done with the query. Okay, great. If you don't clear the query during the explanation, immediately raise your hands and you ask the problems. Okay, so the kind of the freedom should be given by the teachers. They should not be labeled, put at the back of the child, what actually the pain point of the child. बच्चे ने आज गलती कर दी, We never allow to let the forget you made the mistake. You always carry on. He always carries on, baggage of the mistake, and that has to be removed. It should be the environment which should always be ready to nurture the child, and that is what we are focusing on. Discipline is equally important because the guru actually is working on the club approach of public school ethos along with regimental concept. I hope I'm clear. When I say public ethos, I'm talking about all kind of the informations which is being thrown by the new education policy. We are actually applying to that in our curriculum. It's a dynamic curriculum. It's an inclusive, it's an interdisciplinary. Okay, these all approaches are there in our curriculum. But if I talk about the regimental, I'm talking about the strict discipline. And when I say strict discipline, I simply believe that according to me, discipline is loving firmness. Loving firmness. Love with the logic. Right? If my child, goes along with this, I'm sure child will be happy and he will learn a lot. So this is what I'm thinking. Yes. Yeah.
As the new education policy provides the facility of vocational education, it sacrifices to learn the term internship as the part of vocational education curriculum. Kindly explain the existence of internship as a part of it.
That's a question which I should say which is very close to my heart as well as the burning pivot point of the new education policy. How to imbibe the skills and how particularly to prepare the children for with the vocational skills. I want to tell you very specifically in our school system, we are going to start with the multi-skill foundation course from standard 5. New education policy focuses on this from standard 6. But in our system, we are going to start on our ground with the standard 5. Right? When I am saying multi-skill foundation course, that means I am talking about, you must have heard that the school has got the STEM lab. This is one of the few schools of the country which has got this STEM lab, STEM tinkering lab, adult tinkering lab, which is the project of NEP IO. And our school is one of the few schools who has got the opportunity to get this project, right? And when I'm saying it's focused on STEM, that means science, technology, engineering, mathematics. I want to add A here also. So convert from STEM to STEAM, right? Science, technology, art. Okay, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. Because now the approach, even education system, new education system also emphasizes on the art integrated approach, right? So we also are going to nurture children, you people, with respect to all these kind of basic skills, which is going to help you on day-to-day life. For example, gardening. For example, your carpentry. For example, plumbing, electrical area. Okay, AI, artificial intelligence. So these are the certain areas which we are going to, and we are absolutely set with the system. And you will see that in your timetable also there is one, the lesson has been kept. Of course, more focus till 11, since you people belong to the class 12. For you, we are going to prepare you for the skill which is going to be required, what is absolutely needed for the coming examination system, where you will have to prepare to yourself for the entrance examination. And after qualifying the entrance examination system, now the time has come for the CUET, Common University Entrance Test. Okay, not only the marks is going to help you. And in this CUET, they are going to focus on the marks, your criteria of the question paper. What they have said means different kind of the question papers, different kind of the questions in the particular paper. They have designed it based on your linguistic skills, based on your critical thinking skills, based on your application behavior. So all these skills which is to be required for the tomorrow, the school is absolutely set with its work. So the internship for 11th and 12th, because you have seen that the projects are there, what you will have to prepare for your boarding purpose also, assessment also. So we have decided to come up with the internship. 10 days barriers concept, where the children are going to send for the different areas, different industries. We are going to associate the different kind of institution industries where the child will be sent, and on the ground they will go and they will learn the particular kind of the nature of the job or what the internship will be adopted by the child. So very soon you are going to see these all internship programs, and the certificate will be issued every child. Accordingly, they will imbibe the interest. The child will be able to see with the more clear eyes, okay, what is my strength area? Okay, which side direction actually I have to pursue, right? So all these eight things is to be focused, and along with the career counseling, behavioral counseling, this is going to be the important part for you to make you aware about yourself. I hope I'm clear.
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Yes.
सर ये जो नई शिक्षा नीति है ये हमारे टीचर्स को किस तरीके से सहायता करने वाली है?
Oh my God, this is something very interesting. You asked this question, how it is going to help the teachers. Teachers को कैसे help करने वाली है? As I told you, for learning, the child will be in the center, and for reform, the teacher will be in the center. टीचर को सबसे बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलने वाली है कि टीचर को अपना माइंडसेट चेंज करने की अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले। एक ऑर्थोडॉक्स माइंडसेट, रोड लर्निंग और टीचिंग कॉन्सेप्ट से हटके अब टीचर विल बी द सेज ऑन द स्टेज. That is the purpose actually the teacher is going to play the role. And for this, the regular PDP classes, professional development programs, which is being thrown by the CBSE and NCERT regularly. They have to attend the 50 hours compulsory program in one session, 5 days offline training session that is must for the teacher. Okay, so they are going to, and they are already undergone. Now in future also they are going to undergo very vigorous sessions with respect to all kind of your curriculum development, with respect to pedagogical development, and with respect to the remolded assessment criteria. ठीक है, और इस पैंडेमिक के बाद के जो बच्चे हैं उनको कैसे संभालना है, उनके साथ कैसे ट्रांजिशन को संभालना है, ठीक है ना, उनको कैसे गले लगना है, दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और उस चीज के ऊपर ये टीचर्स already, because if you have only the cognitive skills but you don't have the heart, as a principal of the school, I believe if you have the control of somebody's heart, or you can capture emotionally somebody's heart, brain automatically comes in the control. So this is what I believe with my all students, dealing with parents along with the teachers. So our complete this system of the Guru actually believes to nurture not only to you, even to the society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. And sir, we got to know a lot of things today, sir, from your knowledgeable things.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks. It's my privilege.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
And I have all the wishes, best wishes to you people. And I must say, thanks a lot that you have provided me the opportunity also to interact with you. God bless you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.